The one thing I forgot to do today was move my microphone.
Kind of an important thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've not moved it before, and you've heard me just fine, so. All right, let's move this back in, I guess. Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host, Liz. God damn it, I hate saying that. Oh, whatever. Probably easy enough to find anyways. I'm joined as always by my co-host. I'm gonna throw you out there too. Just cause.
No.
Okay. Well, then you've got to bleep my last name in the edit.
And I'm sure it's on your Twitter.
It's not.
Oh.
I'm Eliza Elaine on my Twitter.
Oh.
Now you have the middle name too.
Well.
Anyways,
You gotta remind me to bleep it.
Okay, I will. I am joined, however, by my lovely co-host Marcus on our first My Windows Open Pinfall episode of the year.
Exciting.
Because it's fucking hot today. And by that I mean it's 50 degrees and our heat is still on, so it's fucking hot.
Mike asked me, why do I have a Christmas-related sweater on? It's almost March. Because, Mike, this sweater is comfy as hell, and it looks nice. There's nothing Christmas about it. Just, you know, it's 40 degrees here.
It's got that Nordic pattern.
He said
it was 50 today.
He said it's 70 by him, but it's like 40 now. It was in the 50s today. I could have worn a t-shirt, but this is so comfy.
Don't go up there. The cat desperately wants to go up on the windowsill, which has 2 candle holders, 3 actually, a fake flower.
Mm-hmm.
She to get into the room, I shut the door slightly. She smacked it open, so now it's half open. Anyways.
She definitely just wants to get up there because the window's open. It does the same with my window.
Really?
Also, Mike, I did have a headache today. Thank you for reading the Champs Only Club newsletter. Feeling much better now. Stopped having the headache when we started eating Chipotle. Why I didn't stream today.
WWE posted a picture, quote from Mr. Cole and his lovely little speech tonight. Mm-hmm. And Kyle O'Reilly retweeted and just said, "What a POS."
Oh, man.
Absolute king.
We have a lot to talk about with that. Adam Cole, Mike. Adam Cole.
Also, Mr. Michael Cole. What a
Michael Cole.
Piece of shit.
J. Cole.
Him too, I guess. God. Anyways, I guess we have shit to talk about today, huh?
We've got a lot of news.
Yes, we do. So we'll start with that. I'm gonna try to retweet the tweet as best I can. If you want to do that as well, Marcus.
No. Camera's really high today.
Are you really high today?
No.
It feels so nice to have a breeze coming in.
Does it?
Oh my god, yes. Yeah, I know, it's scary, isn't it, Pete?
Alright.
The world is scary.
News?
Yeah, news. Newts. Welcome to the newt section of the podcast.
Mike's calling it the Tyler Breeze podcast.
Why? Mike. Son of a gun. I'm not snapping at you, don't burr. Got bird at for snapping.
We're already 20 minutes in. Can we please
just
get into
so
the
Big
news?
Show's no longer in the WWE.
Yeah. Shocking.
Right there.
That's...
You had an article that tells us why Big Show has signed with AEW as Paul White, and I may have had that article, but I don't feel like opening it up, so take us away.
Yeah, so also, he might be joining AEW as the Giant, bringing back that name, but right now he was signed as Paul White. Just depends on what they want to give his ring name. Uh, so according to PW Insider, PWInsider.com is told that WWE and White were unable to come to terms on a new deal financially, and his final contract with the company last month, days after he made an appearance being verbally bullied by Randy Orton on the Raw Legends Night episode on January 4th. One source stated that White was very open that night about his unhappiness with the situation. White, who did not publicly announce his departure, was moved this week to WWE.com's alumni section on February 19th.
It's funny because this is something that I would have actually probably had, like, not been nearly as blindsided by if I did the news incrementally throughout, like, the day as things were updated. But because I don't do that, like, I was doing the news today and I was like, oh, there's like 40 articles about this already on Wrestle Talk going, like, at least a day into the past.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it sucks. I'm not that upset because, like, he's kind of past his prime in terms of, wrestling.
I'm excited for some, Sting Big Show moments, but hopefully AEW gets him to some in-ring action because, I mean, Big Show was wrestling in WWE like not too long ago, just a few months.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's still good enough to wrestle.
And I think there's a chance that he might be part of the new AEW show. I think he might play a role in that in some capacity.
That's what I heard. Also, that transitions into another news piece that I'm not sure if you have or not. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, you think that I'm not 10 steps ahead of you? There we go.
Also,
so in relation to that, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. Mike just said Big Show and Shaq have always wanted to have a match, and now it looks much more likely. Who tall
and
guys?
I don't like when wrestling promotions book celebrities. No one wants to see them.
You know, Ron Simmons was a celebrity wrestler.
I just hope Arn Anderson has a good day today. Anywho, so AEW did announce, and I believe they announced it as well today on their Dynamite episode, that they are just trying to edge WWE out of the market entirely by announcing a new show on Monday nights on YouTube, not on broadcast television, which is just fucking smart because you don't have to pay anybody. You put it on YouTube. It is the future. Tony Khan is living in 2030.
It's
Vince
almost,
is living in 1970.
It's almost like Tony Khan is in touch with humanity and the current times, while Vince doesn't want to be in touch with current times. I forget who said it. I think it was Chris Hero who said he doesn't want to be in touch.
Which is why I think that the company's going to be in the same position it's in now until Vince passes. Because I don't think Vince is going to let go of the show until he is 6 feet in the ground, and maybe even then he might hold on to it.
I will not be happy until shows are premiering live on Peacock. Only then will I be satisfied with WWE's broadcasting. Probably won't happen though.
But so AEW announced AEW, and this is just funny to me because we've got AEW Dynamite, we've got AEW Dark, and we've got AEW Dark Elevation. It's just like, how many more names you gonna slap on this shit, Tony?
AEW Dark Elevation, the next level.
But it's basically going to be a bunch of developmental talent, more or less, indie wrestlers and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's premiering sometime in 2021. I don't think he's confirmed a date. And it is going to start at 7 p.m., which makes me wonder, is he doing it only for an hour? Is he doing it for 2 hours? If he's doing it for 2 hours, why? Like, maybe most people tune into Raw at the first hour and then tune out, which can you blame them? I think it's funny. I think it's interesting. I'm excited to watch an hour of AEW Dark Elevation every Monday.
And you know what? For a lot of wrestling fans, Raw was already painful to sit through. And now to get their wrestling fix, they could turn to this new AEW show on Mondays. So that will drive a lot of viewership away from Raw, possibly forcing Vince to either cut down on the runtime or change the change the medium of which Raw or the rest of the shows go out.
I don't think Vince, if the latter of that option comes to light, I don't think Vince is going to be the one to choose that, because USA has already said enough times that if the ratings go down any further, they're going to be forced to do something. So.
Oh, we'll see. Mike said, nah, Raw has Miz, no one is changing the channel. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
I do not like The Miz. I'm sorry.
Nobody does. Nobody likes The Miz. Except Maurice.
There are some people who are, like, really into him.
It's weird. How can you be really... I mean, I'm into the Stone Crushing finale, if that's the name of it.
Skull Crushing?
That's it. I'm into his finisher, the Skull Crushing finale, but that's really it. He's kind of boring now.
Hey. All right, let's get into some more non-WWE, specifically Marty Scurll.
Oh no.
Marty fucking Scurll.
Real quick, I know this. Well, I don't know this story, but I know Sean Ross Sapp made an article about this, and people were pissed off because he put this story behind a paywall. People were pissed on Twitter.
I think that putting wrestling news behind a paywall is kind of silly, because I can get the same news for free on other websites. It's like, that's why I don't understand putting news behind a paywall. It's like, what do you think is so special about your writing? Like, I love Sean Ross Sapp, I really do. But, like, outside of, like, stuff that he does where it's like exclusive interviews and shit, like it's like sometimes I'll get like a Wrestle Talk article that's like, you know, so and so reported on Fightful Select on Fightful Select X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, so why would I pay? You just told me what I can get. And 90% of wrestling news is opinion, so anyways. So Marty Scurll was backstage at a recent NJPW Strong taping. It's not clear why. And apparently NJPW said that Fanbyte reported that he was used on camera, confirmed. And their source basically said they weren't trying to hide him. I thought we were going to be the company that wasn't looking to give these guys... That wasn't booking these guys to get some buzz. They're going to get buzz all right, but probably not the kind they're looking for. And it just reeks of letting things slide because these people are all friends or whatever. I really just think fans should know his involvement beforehand so they can choose to tune in or not. It is fucking bananagrams to me that they're using him. I mean, like, accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl. And you're gonna let him wrestle on camera. Fucking somebody should shove that umbrella they use up his fucking ass. I say that much.
I don't trust indie wrestling. I don't.
Well, so I read a post online from this Tumblr. Her name is Nia, not Jax. Their name is. I can look this up quickly, actually. While I confirm that. Spelled the same way that you would expect it to be. Niai. So she said this was more racism wrestling and how every promotion really at the end of the day has done something that's shady or is continuing to do something that's shady. Mm-hmm. And that basically there's no ethical consumption of professional wrestling.
Right.
Or of wrestling in general. And frankly, I don't disagree with that because 9 times out of 10 when we're watching shit, it's like, okay, well, he said something horrible. He's done something horrible. She's said X, Y, and Z that's
Allegedly.
awful. And like, you have to just kind of know that going in. If you're trying to find a wrestling promotion that's ethical,
yeah,
you're not gonna.
Also,
doesn't give them a pass. Doesn't give them a pass at all. But from the WWE all the way to like the least possible known indie, probably more so.
I've got a little breaking news. I don't know how breaking this is. It's about 9 hours breaking. So apparently there have been rumors for a while that AEW is going to have a second show on TNT. This is not AEW Dark Elevation. This is something completely different.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Somebody tweeted regarding Elevation. With this announcement of Elevation being Monday's show on YouTube, does this mean that the planned second show for Turner is no longer happening? Somebody quote tweeted that and said that's kind of being buried in the story, but that is definitely what it looks like. A second AEW show on TNT does not appear to be happening soon. And then Tony Khan responded to that and said that's also still happening in 2021, and we'll have more info tonight on AEW Dynamite about the arrival of Paul White here in AEW and about the launch and details of Elevation. So there is another show, a second show happening that will be on TNT.
See, that's confusing to me only because that tweet was included in let me try to pull it back up. The tweet was included in the article I read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think AEW Dark Elevation is that show.
No, because the way he worded it in the tweet said there's another show happening and we'll have more details on Elevation. Elevation is just on YouTube. There's another show, because that's why it's AEW Dark, like it's not on TV.
Imagine if Tony Khan just goes all the way and makes a show with only women wrestling.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
That would be the final nail in the fuck you coffin for Tony to Vince.
Right when Anna Jay is injured too.
Well, that's not controllable, but it just seems like interesting on the heel of their women's tournament.
I mean, yeah. And that women's tournament has been getting a lot of attention.
Well, yeah, because they're using women's wrestlers from all over. Anywho, we should keep going. Let's talk about Vince's new accusations in the XFL lawsuit case, which is somehow still going on. Apparently, I'm gonna try to understand this. Basically, what happened. So this lawsuit case, if you don't know, is against Oliver Luck, which apparently this new filing is in which McMahon's alleging that Oliver repeatedly shared confidential XFL information. Hey, look at her. special guest host. But apparently, Luck shared XFL confidential information with an NFL agent, who is Oliver's brother-in-law. And apparently Vince is looking for requests for proposal, or they request proposals, meeting notes, presentations, draft contracts, analysis of players, as well as attorney-client privileged information, including draft contracts and analysis of contracts. So this started in April 2020 because Luck said that Vince wrongly dismissed him. And it's still going, and it makes me realize that anytime I ever threaten to sue somebody in my head, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't have the commitment level for this one. What'd you just do? Giving me agita. So that's something. In addition to things that aren't quite WWE but are technically WWE, we have a proposed new show from WWE, partnering with A&E. And have you read this yet?
No, but I assume it's a reality show.
It's sort of. So the series is going to feature biographies on Stone Cold, Roddy Piper, Randy Savage, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Ultimate Warrior, Mick Foley, Bret Hart. And basically it is called WWE's Most Wanted Treasures. And it focuses on iconic lost WWE memorabilia. So the press release for the show, I'm not going to read it all because it's a lot of shit. It's going to take viewers on a journey to find some of WWE's most iconic lost memorabilia. In each of the 9 episodes, WWE's Stephanie McMahon and Paul Levesque, Triple H, not going to try that, lead a team of collectors, WWE superstars, and legends as they investigate, negotiate, bid, and travel across the country to hunt down and reclaim some of the most elusive WWE collectibles. Throughout history, WWE's action-packed storylines have spawned iconic, one-of-a-kind memorabilia, most of which have gone missing. Superstar in training AJ Francis will head out on the road alongside some of the most famous WWE legends of all time, including a bunch of people I'm not going to read the names of. The series will unearth these rare items in the hopes of preserving and sharing the legacy behind the memorable moments in WWE history. This show will appear on the 18th of April. Yeah. Okay, so the first series is actually the one that will have biographies on wrestlers, which might be interesting, might not be, but it is A&E, so it could be pretty cool, because I like a lot of A&E stuff.
So they're hunting down memorabilia. Which one of either Triple H or Stephanie McMahon is going to play Indiana Jones to yell, "It belongs in a museum"? And which one plays Short Round?
Well, that'll be Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yes. Is either Trips or Stephanie McMahon Marion? I don't know if you've seen Indiana Jones.
Trips. I know enough about Marion.
Okay.
But it's Trips.
Okay. Good.
Right. Let's keep going. Now we have...
Mike just said 40 minutes news. Let's go.
Shut up, Mike. We have McMahon. No, I'm not gonna do that one.
Okay.
It's just Vince doesn't like Shayna's in-ring style apparently, and Shayna responded to it. And said a very long thing. But it's basically kind of like patting him on the back, which was very confusing for me to read in the first place. But she basically, in lieu of everything, she just said that people like kind of make him off as like this crazy unhinged guy. And I said, well, they've got a right to do that. That he's always been super nice to her and has critiqued her really well and all this shit. And I was like,
I like how you said...
You're telling yourself that, babes.
I like how you said you weren't going to do that one, but yet you explained...
I'm like, about to move on from it. So Taya Valkyrie has a new name. That's something I want to talk about. The comings and goings of people. And you know her new name, so I'm looking at you for that.
What, Taya Valkyrie?
Yes.
I told you that's not her new name. That's just her real name.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you came in here with Taya Valkyrie and LA Knight have new names.
No, because I was on their the WWE website listing all the new developmental people, and they listed their real names, and I was like, oh, those are weird names. But then I realized it's their real names.
Gotcha. Which I'm about to do, actually. Because they have a new developmental class, including Jennifer Michelle Cantu Iglesias, who's a Mexican powerlifter. Can't wait to fucking see her. Drew Casper, who's a collegiate wrestler with a 30-0 record and ranked number 1 in the NCAA. Avery Taylor, who has wrestled for Evolve, Shine, and has appeared on NXT TV in the 2020 Battle Royale, which I assume means that she was one of the girls named random names like Tizzy. And then we've also got Taya Valkyrie, Angela Arnold, who was a student at Booker T's wrestling school, and I think she's the one who's AQA. I think, because I know she was related in some way to Booker T. By related, I mean worked with. Christian Brigham, who is Christian Casanova. Parker Boudreaux, who's the guy who looks like Brock Lesnar. Gigi Dolin, Priscilla Kelly. Anthony Henry, who's a former Evolve Tag Team Champion. Christian Hubble, Blake Christian. Cora Jade, who was Elena Black. Johnson Rucksteiner, son of Rick Steiner. Funny enough. Carissa Rivera, who's worked for Ring of Honor and NXT. Zoe Stark, who was Lacey Ryan. And Sari, who is a Japanese talent, could not travel until this current year. Okay. Let's get into some opinion pieces. Corey Graves opened his fucking mouth. Let's start there. So Corey Graves decided
20 minutes on this news piece.
It won't be. It'll be 10. Again, it's another long quote because Corey Graves doesn't shut the fuck up ever. Apparently he was speaking on After the Bell and said all this shit, and I'm like, did you have a guest that like also spoke at any point in time? It is three solid paragraphs. Whoops. And basically he said that NXT, you got me Russian. NXT could do with a little injection of personality. I don't necessarily agree with. I'd love to get your point of view on it.
I mean, I disagree. I think there's a common criticism that everyone's like dark and edgy on NXT. But I mean, like, look at just Undisputed Era. Every member of Undisputed Era is very different, has their own unique personalities. Look at the Gargano family. Look at Dexter Loomis. Look at Grizzled Young Vets, Killian and Drake. All of them have like very unique personalities. Everyone on the women's roster has a very different personality, except like Toni Storm, maybe.
I think it's like the difference between taking like a grisly show, like NCIS, right? Everyone on NCIS has a different personality, but they all have like the same tune, more or less, besides like Abby, I guess. Because they all have different motivations. And in the same way that like Brooklyn Nine-Nine has a bunch of different characters, and it's a funnier show. It's like, yeah, they all have like the same like tint painted over them, but like at the same time, they're all different people. And the fact, like, I feel like it's just a sign that you don't watch it or you don't care to invest your time into understanding it. Because like Dexter looks edgy, but then at the end of the day, you remember that Dexter's basically just a dude with the mind of a child.
Right.
And Kushida is technically a babyface, but Kushida's also fucking scary. It's just, I don't know, man. Corey just likes to talk a lot. Anywho, since I know you're not responding to me because you want me to move on, I just want to finalize. As the last piece of news, discuss this whole sky is blue thing.
There haven't even been any developments on it since we last talked about it.
It's just weird. But we never talked about it. You and I talked about it. No, we talked about it after.
I thought we talked about it during the show.
Did we talk about it?
Yeah.
Oh, we may have talked about it during the show, actually.
Not during the news, but during the show.
No, at the end of it. Anyways, Bobby Lashley tweeted about it now. Which is just strange, because it's all the members of the Hurt Business.
Nikki Kross. Andrade.
Nikki Cross is the one that, like, kind of confuses me, because she's not really a heel.
Andrade.
But, like, most people that have tweeted about it are heels. Andrade, last we saw, was a heel.
He's not even on the show.
I'm not sure he actually exists.
Byron.
Maybe this is how Alistair comes back.
Byron tweeted it.
Byron tweeted it?
Yeah.
I thought he just liked the tweets.
No, I think Byron tweeted it once.
I don't care for that. That's even weirder, because Byron doesn't look like he's got much going on up there. Maybe this is how Bray comes back.
No.
No? When are we going to find out? Is this just going to be another Elias car crash incident?
I think somebody said it's probably just like a social experiment from these guys to just see, like, saying something blatantly obvious and simple, like the sky is blue, will still have people arguing in comments trying to prove them wrong. Because I've already seen some tweet responses that are like, no, it's actually like a light brown or a light gray.
See, mostly what I've seen, because I looked through Bobby Lashley's responses, and it was just people, like, arguing over what the tweet itself meant. Not so much, like, the content, but, like, people just, like, yelling at him that Drew McIntyre's gonna get the title back, and, like, some Purple Rain quotes as well from Prince. I was like...
I also love how you have the SmackDown sticker on.
I changed that too from the Raw sticker. God dang it,
My one was right. You've turned heel on the signs.
Like a confused heel turn, though. It's like Adam Cole, baby.
No, he's not confused.
No, he's just a dick.
Alright, so matches.
Anyways, you got your matches and promos. Let's start.
We started off immediately with Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano, a match you would think would be later in the night, but nope, we started off with this.
True. It's just so hot. So if you could be entertained by me for 5 minutes.
It's very difficult.
Okay. Sure. Alrighty. Alright, that hurts. Anyways. I'm glad you're having fun. Johnny's just fucking scared of Dexter for the most part in the beginning of this. Johnny... I don't know how this match started because my notes aren't really making sense in these first two, but basically Johnny runs away from Dexter. He ends up outside of the ring, and he's looking like he wants that thing where, like, he pushes off the ropes and does kind of like an enziguri type move against Dexter. But the moment he pops up on those ropes, Dexter just uppercuts him and flattens him out. Really hometown hero. Not from my hometown. Dexter then follows Johnny from the ring, slithers under it, and then reappears right behind Mr. Gargano and smacks him around with several uppercuts. There's a kick to the face of Dexter in the corner, and then Dexter just fucking pounces on Johnny. Then, after doing that, after slugging him a bit, we get some hard double axe handles. Jeff Hardy, take notes. To Johnny's chest. Loomis then goes for the vertical suplex, and Johnny is wiggling, but Dexter, like, squats and lifts him multiple times before dropping him on his back. Johnny slams Dexter backwards ringside in a way that I didn't really realize Johnny had the power to do so. Like, just shoved him. Dexter, of course, kipped up the moment I looked over at Mark, because that's just Mark's fucking agenda at this point.
Not my agenda. It's not my fault. You miss every kip up that Dexter Lumis does.
And he then drops Gargano into the apron, throws him into the metal beam. Austin Theory approaches him. The moment Dexter looks him in the eyes, he just cowers. Indy approaches him, and she's just giving me the representation I needed by suddenly being like, hello. Hi. And I was like, I get it, Indy. Johnny ends up diving out onto Dexter. We get a power slam to Dexter, and then a slingshot suplex and a belly to belly, and a belly to back to Gargano, as well as a double leg drop. Again, Jeff Hardy, take notes. Dexter is basically on all fours on the ground. Johnny attempts multiple times to kick him, but Dexter's too fast. We get a backbreaker to Johnny. Dexter then goes up top, fights Johnny down as Johnny tries to follow him. He looks for the double stomp, but kind of by the grace of God fails because Johnny rolls away and Dexter rolls through, so no harm done. We get a pop-up uppercut to Gargano and a super kick to Dexter. Candice decides to distract the ref, thinking that might help. And Theory gives Gargano a chair, which Dexter then stomps on the chair, and I believe on Johnny's hand in the process. The moment Gargano reaches to use it, that's grand. Candice is annoyed at this point. Eventually, Theory grabs the chair. Theory has the opportunity to hit Dexter, but will not hit Dexter. For whatever reason, he won't hit him. He decides that it is not within his wheelhouse to do so. Johnny, who is behind Dexter and to his back, runs at Dexter, who immediately turns around because he's like a fucking cat, dodges Johnny, sends him into Theory and the chair, and then we get a choke slam as well as a silence to finish the match. It was fucking stellar. Dexter Lumis is pulling some main card shit.
Yeah. I can't wait for an actual match between these two when Johnny's at takeover Johnny level, and this is for the title or something.
I think Gargano alone would be a sick match where Johnny actually has to try.
Yeah. That'll obviously be when Austin and Indy are not there. And it maybe Candice on the sideline, or maybe she's gone too. So whenever Johnny's alone, he always performs at his best. But after that, we had a little vignette of MSK. Some reactions from their families to winning the Dusty Rhodes Classic. It's very sweet. We also got some backstory on Nash Carter, that his father passed away and he got a tattoo. Do you remember what the tattoo said? Something about the legacy.
Legacy lives on.
Yeah, I think that's right. It was very sweet, very touching. But I thought, I'm confused. Mm-hmm. Because, with what happens a little later, I thought we were going to get MSK versus Oni and Danny next week. Same day as Raquel and Dakota versus Nia and Shayna. Right. They've been promoting the women's tag match, but not MSK versus Oni and Danny at all. Not a single promotional picture about it. Now, I'm going to try and look it up. Versus Oni, Morgan, and Danny Burch. Give me a date. Because they said a date last time. I thought they said March 3rd. which is the same day as Dakota and Raquel versus Nia and Shayna. No idea. But after that, we have a little video package of Shotzi Blackheart, courtesy of Burger King. Something they call a wrestler profile, or something like that, a superstar profile. I wonder if we'll get more of those, or if it's just going to be of Shotzi.
We've gotten those a couple times before.
Have we?
Yeah.
Should only be of Shotzi though, because she's going to be the next NXT Women's Champion. But so then we have an interview with MSK, and before any question can be asked completely, MSK attacks them, like brutalizes them. And then we cut to Leon Ruff in medical. And Malcolm Bivens pops up from behind one of the medical beds and walks over to Leon Ruff and tries to set up a match between Leon Ruff and Tyler Rust, which is kind of what we have next. We have Tyler Rust and Malcolm in the ring. Malcolm's talking, and he refers to Tyler Rust as the son he never had and never wanted. And then we supposed to start off Tyler Rust versus Leon Ruff. Do you want me to talk about this, or do you want to talk about this?
You can talk about this, because I really didn't. The only note I have is Swerve is ruining everything for us again.
Okay. I just have, never mind, Swerve just attacks Leon Ruff. But Swerve blindsides Leon Ruff as he's doing his little hang thing off the ropes, and then sends him into the announce desk, and just says more about how Leon's getting more opportunities than him, and that time is over. Swerve exits, and then Tyler Rust puts up his hand in victory. Oh, so
I couldn't tell if Malcolm planned that, or if Malcolm was just like, well, that's sick.
No, it's very much just okay, I guess Tyler wins.
That's fair.
Then we have William Regal and Zoe Stark backstage. Regal was impressed by Stark's debut match, so she's setting her up against Io.
She's setting her up against?
He's setting her up against Io. We then have an interview with Zoe Stark. We were supposed to. And then we cut to a still frame of Io walking, and then the screen glitches out and we're back at the ring. Don't know what happened. Obviously something wrong with broadcasting. But it was awkward. It was real awkward. Cue Mustafa Ali on NXT next week.
For a second too, I was like, is this The Fiend? Is this Retribution?
We then have Cameron Grimes backstage watching a Ted DiBiase video. And him telling a kid to dribble a basketball 10 times for $1,000 or something. And Cameron Grimes said, "You can embarrass anyone with enough money." And he tries to reenact the video with someone telling him he'll give him $1,000 if he can dribble 10 times, and he does. So it doesn't work. Cameron Grimes gets all confused and mad. And then we start Zoe Stark versus Eoshirai.
This match basically starts with okay.
What?
You went black and then it was very laggy, so I got stressed. This match starts with some from this, but God, I got more than I thought. We get a wrist lock on Zoe, and then she kips up a little bit, like in like that way where you're trying to get out of a wrist lock, and I was like, okay. We get a shoulder tackle to Io, and then an abdominal stretch on Zoe from Io. Io sends double knees into Stark. She almost 619s her, but Stark catches her, and then we get a pump kick to Io that, like, I don't know what Zoe's putting in, like, her, like, gear. I feel like it's like those, like, you know, those metal balls that, like, if you snap them together, they make a really loud clacking noise.
Yeah.
I think it's that. Because every fucking hit sounded like it should have taken Io's neck off of her shoulders. Zoe goes for the basement slide, but on Io, but Io catches her with an overhead kick. Io goes up top and Zoe kicks her down. There's a kick to the midsection, and then the shoulder, and then the leg of Io. There's a clothesline, but Zoe is caught pretty quickly by Io and brought down like a fucking hurricane. A running knee to Io. A 450, but Io moves out of the way, and Zoe rolls through. Like the planning that has to go into a 450 that you roll through.
Mm-hmm.
We get a double high crossbody from both of the ladies, and now they are just bent and broken. Zoe attempts a crucifix pin, doesn't get it. She gets a German suplex off. She then goes to kick Io, but Io catches her. And we get a shoulder tackle and a face buster to Zoe. The 619 connects. We get a missile drop kick, but Io, after the German suplex, where she kind of like landed on her whole ass noggin, but no one really talked about it, so I don't know if maybe it was just the angle of the camera at the time. Because I know, like, with, like, when Ridge almost killed Johnny, we got a replay of that, like, 40 times, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't want to see this, but thanks. But Io did go up top. She looked really, like, not where she should be mentally, because she kind of, like, went for the drop kick and then brought herself back down for a second. But manages it all the same. Zoe ends up giving Io a back body drop. She goes up to the top. Io hits her in the face. Shirai gets the Hurricane Rana off the top rope. On Zoe, she goes for the double underhook backbreaker to Zoe. You get a belly to back to Io. Io then counters a second German suplex attempt with a Panama Sunset to Zoe, launching her into the buckles. And then there's some double knees to Zoe and an over the moonsault off the top rope to finish the job. Another sick fucking match. Zoe came out of absolutely nowhere. Like, she MSK'd me a little bit. Where, like, I've never seen her before. So I was like, okay, whatever.
I'd say a better comparison is she Tyler arrested you.
She did Tyler arrest me, but, like, yeah, I guess that's, I mean, both, because somebody, when I say somebody, I mean somebody walked in here and she knocked the entire door open. Now, when Ellen goes to the bathroom, I can hear everything.
I mean,
Shut
I think
the
with
door.
the door closed anyway, you can still hear the door open and close.
Can, but that's more distracting to me when I can hear it that clearly.
Okay.
But anyways, like, same thing with Tyler and MSK. She came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, new person, cool, whatever. And then she, like, phenomenally impressed me, and I was like, and a lot of times, and I hate to say this, but a lot of times with, like, female wrestlers, you don't get that same level of, like, hard-hitting action. At least not with, like, newer ones in NXT. Like, I mean, Valentina Ferro. She's nasty, but she's not as nasty as she could be. Maybe that's just the amount of time that we get to see them. But Jesus Christ. Zoe Stark could break Kacy Catanzaro in half. And Kaden, for that matter, at the same time if she wanted to. Like, spaghetti. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass.
You want to talk about what happened next?
Oh, speaking of Kacy Catanzaro. That's the little safety vest. Kacy versus Xia.
Whoa, no.
Oh. I didn't take notes on that, but yeah, Tony Storm comes out to talk shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then
He she basically says, she says, like, you said that you would challenge anybody, anytime, anywhere. And Io said, yes, I did promise that. And Tony said, no, well, you did, but you are not, because if you did, you would have challenged me already. And, then we are basically told that we're 2 weeks from today. We're getting a championship match between Tony and Io. Also,
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I believe the way it went down was more or less at the end. It was just like, okay, go talk to Regal, or one of them said that to the other, and remember Io screaming off the ropes, "It's on!" I said, "Someone's gonna die," and then I got my MSK popcorn. I sat back.
Also, regarding the end of the show, after the show ended, Pat McAfee tweeted, just a terrible, terrible, terrible human.
Pat, stop being right, you little fucker.
Oh, God. And then there's...
it's...
The comments are just all taking that comment the wrong way. Somebody just said, like, was comforting him through his breakup. And another person just said, yeah, we've known Trump has been the whole time.
I think the creepiest thing, honestly, about Cole right now, you know that little fucker is planning this. Since the first Kyle Finn match, you know he was. All that, even with the fucking Adam and Finn match, you know, when he was like, oh, the mutual respect shit, where like they did like the too sweet and all that. I was like, you've been thinking about this, you fucking scary little 5'7" freak show. Not believing he's 6 foot. We gave that luxury as a person. Now he's not. He's 5'7" until further notice.
So up next we have an interview with The Way. Johnny's yelling at Austin for not hitting Dexter. Austin said that the chair isn't necessary and Dexter doesn't deserve it. He's just misunderstood. Candace and Johnny both think that Dexter should be in jail. Indy then chimes in saying that she thinks Dexter is hot. And Johnny just said to Austin, we're sending you to therapy. We then are back with Cameron Grimes. He has a basketball again. And he has like 3 people lined up on the curb. And wants to pick one of them. He picks one and says he'll give $1,000 for 10 dribbles. He tries to kick the ball away as she's dribbling, but just too damn good. And gets 10 dribbles and he's pissed off. And then we have...
Mind you. Just gonna say, a very important part of that promo is that woman, mind you, sorry, I don't mean to say that 40 times, but she's like fucking massive. Her name's Unreal Howard, and she, if I'm not mistaken, is in the WNBA.
Makes sense.
And when she stood up, because like she really looked like she was everyone else's height, and I figured he was gonna choose her because I kind of had that in the back of my head. And then she stood up, and I was like, I have a new crush. She went past 6 foot, and I was like, okay, sure, break my fucking arms.
So after that, we have Kacy Catanzaro versus Xia Li. Have fun talking about that.
Yeah, we do. Alright. So,
Why is it that everything is like... I feel like you're balancing everything on like spikes in there. Like, everything on your desk is just a Jenga tower.
This only recently started happening. What happened is this picture of my darling doggy keeps slipping, and it never used to do that. It's just recently. I don't know what's going on, but I have to find a place to put that won't do that. Anyways, my deepest apologies. Right. So I was gonna say, I made a joke about Kacy's clothes, but for real, the material looked, because it wasn't even just the material was like bright neon yellow. But the mesh was the same kind of mesh that you find on like a safety vest.
Mm-hmm.
Which was just so weird to me. Like, Kayden's gear looked, I mean, also neon, but like had some elements to it that like didn't make it look like a safety vest. It was attached to her legs. I don't know. So Xia immediately charges Kacy, which I don't blame her at this point. Because if I have to hear Kayden screaming at the lady at the top of the ramp one more time, I'm probably gonna rip my own ears off, Van Gogh style. Kacy gets a horrible head scissors off on Xia. Xia then drops Kacy into the top rope and smashes her head into the top buckle. We get an elbow to the face of Xia and then a boot to the face. Kacy then trips Xia into the buckles, and Zaya's getting kind of pissed off at this point. I don't blame her again. Kacy ends up drop kicking Xia into the buckles and clotheslining her in the corner. She flips her little ankles into Zaya's lower back, and Xia gets Kacy out of the ring, slams her into the steel barricade. And then Kacy's like leg is up on one of the steps, and Xia jumps down on it. And I said, there's no way in hell that couldn't have hurt at least a little bit. Which Kacy is then like writhing in pain. She gets back into the ring, sort of. I think Xia basically throws her in. And the ref, Asia, is just like, we can't continue this match. She's dead. Which Kayden goes off to yell at the lady one more time at the top of the ramp, and Boa's like standing in front of her like, no, you can't go this way, and you can't go this way, you can't go this way. I'm very tall and lanky, and you can't somehow manage to push past my arms. So nothing comes of that, but Xia gets back in the ring, and after staring at Kacy for a little while, just hits her with a spinning back heel. It's just the concept of like, Kacy got back on her feet finally after her broken knee. And just fucking slapped. Xia is so tired of this shit. And it's like, just let her be a heel in peace. Let her live her life.
And also,
she went through so much torture for this shit.
I just hate... The one thing I hate about the story is that Kacy and Kayden have been acting like Xia was their friend. She has never, ever been their friend. Ever.
She has been.
When?
She has been. Before we started watching NXT. I know that she has been. And that's why after their match, there was supposed to be that mutual respect, like handshake, like, hey, we're pals. No harm done. It's like, clearly she is not your best friend anymore. If a bitch kicked me like that, I would not be screaming, what did you do to my best friend? I'd be screaming, I want nothing to do with this. Have fun. Toxic. Canceled. And carry on.
But
Kross.
Triple H expects me to do research on low-card wrestlers.
Listen, I know. I get that. I'm not remembering that shit either. It's okay. I just know that that's the case.
After that, we have... This is the second time this happened. I didn't write down the first time, but William Regal goes outside to look for Santos and does not see him anywhere. Getting more and more frustrated each time he checks. We then have a video package of Nia and Shayna and Dakota and Raquel. Kind of putting us where we are, giving us kind of a look back and everything. We then have Cameron Grimes again. He tries to do the trick again with some guy, but this time he's angry. Once the dude is about to start dribbling, he just punches the guy in the face. But he drops all the money and leaves it there. And then we have Drake Maverick and Killian Dain versus the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Oh god, this was a hard match for me because between James Drake and Drake Maverick, my brain shut off. My brain said 2 names, can't do it. But I've just referred to James Drake as James and Drake Maverick as Maverick? Yes. It took me a while to get to that point. So the Grizzled Young Veterans deliver a fucking promo as they always do at the beginning of the fucking match. Just screaming and shouting. Love that for them, especially because Zach Gibson was like going off on the mic and you could see that James Drake's lines were coming in next. He had the microphone and he like kind of was like waiting to jump in. And I was like, oh, my prince, with your little ass covered in your face somehow. Anyways, so Killian's in first against Gibson. There's a one-legged drop kick, which probably should have been a drop kick, but it's Killian Dain, so I give him a pass on it. To Gibson. Immediately he gets James Drake in. James Drake is tripped by a freshly legal Drake Maverick, and Killian drops Maverick onto James. See, now I'm already starting. Gibson is in right after that. We get a shoulder tackle to Drake Maverick. Killian gets in to talk some shit as Gibson has Drake Maverick on his shoulders, and James Drake is about to go off the top rope onto him. Killian, however, unloads Maverick from Gibson's shoulders and grabs Gibson by the throat. James Drake jumps down for whatever fucking reason. He's also grabbed by the throat, and instead of chokeslammed like I kind of expected, they are both sent from the ring. And then Killian sends Mr. Drake Maverick out on top of them. We come back, I think, after a commercial break, and we've got Gibson in versus Maverick. We've got a forearm to Gibson from Maverick, and Maverick takes James Drake down. Killian gets in. He does some really sad little clotheslines to the men, which he follows up with a really nasty belly-to-belly suplex to James Drake, and then this, he's got Gibson on the front, he's got James Drake on the back, and he somehow manages to throw them both into a suplex, which is probably one of the first times I've seen a belly-to-belly, back-to-belly suplex. But then we get a senton onto poor James Drake, who is just broken at this point. Grizzled Young Vets make some attempts to get any sort of hit on Killian, but they're just suplexed again. We get Maverick going off the top ropes onto Drake like an angry little chihuahua. Gibson gets back in. There's a nasty dropkick to Maverick from James Drake. Killian breaks the cover and attacks Gibson, but James Drake flies out onto Killian to help. James Drake is not part of this move. Drake Maverick goes up top. Gibson grabs him after James Drake loosens him off the ropes a bit. Gibson then tosses him down onto the ground. We get a bulldog to Gibson from Maverick, but Grizzled Young Veterans win with their lovely little tag team finisher. And James Drake is fucking incensed. My dude had like bloodlust in his eyes. Continue. Match.
Oh, you froze for a second. So after that, we have Santos Escobar finally arriving. Mendoza and Wild get out of the SUV. But Santos we fade to black, and Santos is just sitting there in the car. Killian is then carrying Drake Maverick to medical. And when he's in there, Alexander Wolf shows up. And the rest of the Imperium is in the background, aside from Walter. But Alexander Wolf mentions Sanity. I think I'm saying that right. Do you know what Sanity is? Alexander Wolf's old tag team with Killian Dain.
I did not even know that existed. I was just thrilled that we got like an ounce of Imperium today.
That was back when Alexander Wolf was known as Eric Young. But
learn something new every day, I guess.
So we got that, and then we have Karrion Kross immediately attacking Mendoza and Wilde outside before they can even get to the ring, and that starts off Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar.
You love saying that, don't you? Ooh, so much space. All right. Let me finish that first cocktail. So, yeah, Karrion attacks before Santos is even out of his van. Because, dude, William Regal spent all night waiting for Santos to come, and I was pretty sure if Santos didn't come, William Regal was going to find him and murder him. Karrion fucking first throws Mendoza against the wall, like this, like, loading dock wall. I was like, oh, come on. I like him. Do it to Wilde. He's a dum-dums. Santos then, I mean, it's just basically, there's a semi-truck in the parking lot as well for whatever reason, which Santos and Karrion take turns getting thrown into. Santos basically gets inside the truck. As Karrion goes to follow him, Santos shuts the truck's loading door on Karrion's head, which even though, like, I know for a fact that did not hurt, or actually not on his head, sorry, his shoulders. The concept of somebody doing that to me, because those kinds of, like, doors scare the piss out of me. Yucky. Santos takes advantage of the moment of Karrion being fucking injured, to lock himself within the cab of the truck. So Karrion gets a pickaxe. As you do.
That's just laying in the bottom of the truck.
Not even like laying in the bottom. It almost looked like there was like a shelf built in under the truck.
Yeah. Like you do.
Which I've never seen before, and I've used those trucks a couple times. But yeah, whatever. Again, like you do. As you said. Takes the pickaxe, and instead of shattering the window, because I guess it was not sugar glass like I assumed it was, jabs it into the door. It makes he creates some damage for sure, but still not my first choice. Wilde then attacks Karrion and is thrown into the hood of the truck. Karrion sends Mendoza into the front of the truck by way of dodging him. Santos has had some time to recoup, so he grabs a trash can and slams it into Karrion's head. The three Legato boys begin attacking Karrion at the same time and shove him into the truck once more before bringing him into the Capitol Wrestling Center. My brain always wants to say the Capital Region Wrestling Center because of New York, but that's not right. Karrion kicks Mr. Wilde in the crotch, and then after kicking Mendoza in the stomach, mind you, and then he throws Wilde and Mendoza through the fucking plexiglass barricade, breaking the fucking window entirely off. Oh, that was stressful. There's a kick to the face. Oh, were you about to say something?
This can wait till the match is over, but there's just an injury update on Kyle O'Reilly. If you want me to wait till after the match. 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, they said that on the show, I think.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because I saw a bunch of people saying 4 to fucking 6 weeks. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
A month and a half?
But 6 weeks is the, according to this comment, 6 weeks is the penultimate show before WrestleMania.
More like the penultimate show before my bags under my eyes. I mean, there is a chance that they're going to use NXT in WrestleMania.
Hopefully.
So I would be shocked if they didn't. Especially with the way the world's going right now. So there's a kick to the face of Santos. Santos has a couple of chair shots on Karrion and then tears his shirt off like it is paper mache. Karrion is then sent basically through the steel steps. I did not look up to see this happen. I saw the aftermath, and the steps were on their side. I said, oh. As you do. There's a dropkick to Karrion's jaw, and then Wilde and men pull Karrion's legs out from under him while he's in the ring. Santos gets Karrion back in the ring. And we get a dropkick to the skull of Karrion. Santos follows him back out of the ring. And Karrion shoves Wilde into the barricade. Then Santos essentially lawn darts himself into Karrion's chest. We get a standing... Karrion stands on Santos's wrist for a while. Santos stands on Karrion's wrist. Fuck me. And then takes to breaking Karrion's entire arm because he did have that shoulder problem that caused him to drop the title. We get double knees into the chest of Karrion and a belly-to-belly suplex. Santos wants the 3 amigos but can't even get the second amigo because Karrion refuses to go up. Instead, we get an overhead suplex to Santos. Wilde is knocked off the apron because the poor boy, he's been targeted tonight. It seems like Mendoza got hit 3 times and Wilde got hit 18.
Because Wilde keeps getting up.
Wild has a little less, I think, going on up here. Mendoza seems very centered. And Wilde seems very much the dumb ones keep getting up. That's how you know. But Wilde's knocked off the apron as he's trying to do God only knows what. We get a third overhead suplex, or a second, I think. Sorry. Santos wants to pull Karrion's arm against the post to injure it more, but has no luck. Instead, Santos becomes the victim of that. As he is resting his head on the steel steps, he is nearly hit with a chair that Mendoza actually goes in on Karrion with. But Karrion kicks it into his face. Mendoza is suplexed after that. Wilde is thrown in a spinebuster into the barricade. Karrion then gets Santos in his arms, brings him to the announce desk, and Saito suplexes him without clearing a goddamn thing off the table.
That was
dumb.
Really good.
Good. Dangerous.
Well,
I mean, I guess
he crashed into the bumper on top of it, so he did crash into a smooth surface.
When I say dangerous, I mean it wasn't smart, but I think because of the fact that was very clearly a brand new desk, because nobody was sitting at it, rigged to fall on contact.
Oh, yeah.
And good reason that nobody was sitting at it because, Wade Barrett, even though he wasn't there tonight, Wade Barrett, ultimate king of destruction.
What if that's why he wasn't there?
They were we're gonna have a fall away desk, so Wade, fuck off.
But that thing fell clean.
It looked like if anybody breathed on that desk prior to the moment, it would have collapsed.
Yeah.
Let me finish that off. So, after that Saito suplex, Santos gets back in the ring by the grace of God and is scrambling away as best he fucking can. But we get a counter drop to Escobar. Comes in from behind to just finish Santos off. And that's that on that. Santos is dead. Karrion wins. Charlotte needs to not do so much self-tanning in such harsh lighting.
And then we have 2 promos to end the show. One of which is LA Knight in his car saying that his debut will be done on his time, on his terms. It could be next week, it could be 3 months from now, but either way, it'll be when he chooses to. And lastly, we have Adam Cole in the ring to close out the show. They play back what happened last week, everything Adam Cole did. He said he feels sick after watching it. He doesn't like the guy he's become. He was pissed off at first because Kyle had opportunities and failed, but that does not excuse his actions. He's ashamed of himself, and then turns to the camera, trying to talk to Kyle. He wishes he could talk to Kyle face to face. Says he was dead wrong about everything he said and did. He said he'll do everything in his power to fix it, and he looked like he was gonna cry. It really did. Like the waterworks felt like they were coming. But then Roddy comes out. Roddy comes out to confront Adam because Roddy also suffered in this. He said Adam shattered their trust. He said Kyle will heal, but Roddy cannot save Adam from what Kyle will do. Understandably. Then Finn comes out. Immediately, Roddy tries to charge him. Finn pushes him aside into the barrier, gets in the ring and attacks Adam. Adam delivers a super kick to Finn. But then out of nowhere, Roddy starts attacking Adam. But then they start to have a moment. Roddy apologizes. Adam apologizes. They're both like crying, saying they love each other. And just as they have a big hug, and then Adam's back on his knees. Roddy starts to back up a little bit, and then Adam delivers a low blow to Roddy.
The fistful of quarters. I don't know if you noticed that, or like coins or something.
Was it?
Yeah, you could see him throw them off to the side afterwards. It wasn't really spoken about.
No. That I don't think that was that, because he rips off Roddy's dog tag and throws that.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna kill myself then. Fuck you. Fuck you. Let me believe it was quarters.
That's when he said, "You're dead to me," or something like that. I asked you. I said, "Did he say you're dead to me?" And you just didn't respond.
I was really upset. I mean, to be fair, this promo was like superior levels of uncomfortable because I did not know what was going to happen. Mm. I had a feeling I knew it was going to happen, but it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. And I was like, fuck.
But then Adam super kicks Roddy, and believe that's that. Finn doesn't get up at all. Adam's left in the ring. And Kyle's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So we're probably going to get a triple threat at WrestleMania between Adam, Roddy, and Kyle. Bobby, who gives a shit at this point?
Stop that. Bobby Fish, come back right now. Your sons are fighting.
What's Bobby going to do? Try and tell them to go to some QAnon protests?
Marcus? It was a mistake. He's a dumb old man. Go from upstate New York. Sometimes shit gets past you a little bit, okay? There's too many cows up there.
I come from cow country too. You're not the only one.
I'm the only one.
Okay.
Listen, Bobby and I are both from the same place and we're both idiots. It's fine.
Except you are not a follower of QAnon or friends with Drake Works.
Right, I got a 1910 on my SATs in case anybody was wondering. If you got a higher score than me, shut the fuck up.
I'm going to make an emote that says 1910 and nobody will get it. Nobody.
They'll be like, is that supposed to be like 1916, like Finn's fucking move or something? Why is that called the 1916?
I don't know. But
did he get that on his SATs?
It's gonna be
incredible.
Because the emote, our emote tag is the pin 60. The emote itself is going to be called SAT score. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yes.
1910.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So that's the show. That's our program.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night.
Now we have bests of the night. And I am super torn on my picks for match and wrestler because we got some good stuff.
I just say, I am like high on how comfortable I am right now with the window open.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if this were a drug, I'd probably get addicted to it real fucking quick. Like the bridge. I know that this is false hope because it's New York and this is how this works. But the bridge from cold ass winter into spring. That's manic season for Elizabeth. I'm just like, no jacket. I'm basically naked outside.
All right, so promo of the night.
I like how much it's belittled tonight.
How much you're belittled? Excuse me?
I feel belittled.
Oh my god.
Belittled.
Unbelievable. So we started off with a vignette with MSK. Very emotional, very touching. Loved it. Got a little more insight on Wes and Nash. Very well done. What?
I wanted to say that it's nothing. I just really wanted to say, because I didn't get to say anything while we were talking about it, but this promo genuinely made me fucking cry. And like, I know you were telling me that some people are pissed that MSK has got the push that they got.
Mm-hmm.
I love that the WWE is honoring the friendship that they had prior to even coming to the WWE. Because that's always been their thing. They've always been close.
Right.
So I'm really happy that that's the case. I'm sure that the man whose name I forget constantly, hang on. It was like a promo that didn't seem forced.
Right.
I really appreciated that. I can't imagine Trey Miguel. Yeah, Trey Miguel. I hope he's sitting at home just like happy as shit for them. Hopefully, if he's ready to come back at any point in time, he's able to come back. I hope he has that same open invitation that like Tim had when he was first starting out or when he was over in Germany before he came over to NXT. It didn't feel forced. I didn't feel like I was like sitting there feeling obligated to love them.
Right.
It just seems so natural. And I'm so excited to have more of them. I'm so happy. It's rare, I feel like, that like there's a person that I'm like so fucking happy is part of WWE. Mm-hmm. They're absolutely in that category. I love them.
Yeah, they're really good. After that, we had the Burger King video package. Shotzi Blackheart. That was pretty decent.
I hate that you're calling it that. And not Superstar Spotlight.
Then we had an interview with MSK that was cut short by Grizzled Young Vets. That was pretty decent. Also, we didn't mention this with Grizzled Young Vets, but when they came out, they said that they broke Wesley's hand. And that might be why we're not getting the match announcement between MSK and Oni and Danny.
So, I guarantee you, this is the same thing with like the Tim versus Tommaso thing, where Tim injured himself and Tommaso suddenly wasn't around. Mm-hmm. Danny Burch, notorious anti-masker, get a feeling that he got COVID or somebody got COVID, and now what they're trying to do is kind of see, 2020 into the future by suddenly being like, oh, what match between MSK and Oni and Danny? We don't know what you're talking about. And then, oh, well, Wesley can't do anything because he's fucking injured, so. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. We didn't get Oni, Danny, Pete, or Kyle. Kyle, all those people were in that match. Roddy and Finn were also in that match last week. Maybe Oni, Danny, Pete, and Kyle all tested positive, and Roddy and Finn did not. Maybe that's what happened.
I think Kyle is almost understandable though, because he did get injured.
And he has diabetes.
Right. I doubt that he tested positive. I imagine that if somebody tested positive, they'd probably want to be careful with him. And just be like, stay at home.
Well, that's why he's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Really fair. And I think we'll have our answer next Wednesday, and I'm usually pretty good about this stuff. I think that next Wednesday we're gonna find out that the match had to be pushed. And I think that they're less worried about pushing that match and talking about it as they would be with the women's. Because if they were to push the women's, it'd kind of be like, well, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. But after that, we had Malcolm Bivens and Leon Ruff. That was okay. Kind of funny how Malcolm Bivens popped up. We had Tyler Rustin, Malcolm Bivens talking in the ring. Malcolm great on the mic, and the way he referred to Tyler Russ was great. I'll consider this a promo. Tyler Russ versus Leon Ruff, where Swerve breaks the party. That was weird, but had a good ending. We had Regs and Zoe Stark. I always want to say Tony Stark. Always. Because we have Tony Storm and Zoe Stark. I feel like those names are so similar. But that was nice. Getting some recognition for somebody who just debuted. We had the Zoe Stark interview, which was cut short by some broadcast glitch. We had Cameron Grimes' whole basketball bit trying to copy Ted DiBiase. That was a great progression, especially where he just punches the guy in the face at the end. We had the interview with The Way. This was hilarious, where Indy and Austin are on Dexter's side. Maybe it'll break up The Way, but I feel like they won't break up this group so close to breaking up UE.
And also so early on.
Yeah. We then have Willie Regs in his quest to look for Santos. We have the video package of Nia Shayna and Dakota Raquel. That was alright. We have Killian and Drake and their encounter with Alexander Wolf. That was a nice little throwback. We had LA Knight's weird promo. All of these promos with LA Knight are just him in his home. That's it. Him in his home or in his car. I
do like how LA Knight had like the blue tinted sunglasses and the blue jacket yesterday or last week, and today it was the red jacket and the red car, and I was like, really giving Edge a run for his money here with the color coordination, aren't you, buddy?
And then last but not least, we have Adam Cole in his explanation with the encounter with Roddy and Finn. This was emotional. It was real great. I really love this. There will be a lot of people complaining that this is too melodramatic, but wrestling needs some emotion. I love this. So my pick for best promo of the night is Adam Cole. And when he just mouths, stupid, stupid, stupid.
Really got into his Randy Orton there, didn't he?
Somebody said, like, he really fused Roman Reigns' gaslighting and Randy Orton's insanity and put it into one. I
think, so, I don't know, I'm disagreeing with myself from 5 minutes ago. By that I mean 5 seconds ago. My soul wants to say MSK just because that made me feel happy inside and comfy. Especially when something is real. But I was fucking around while we were watching this, but like genuinely, like I did not feel comfortable watching this. Like this was like, you know, when like the neighbors like they're in the house and the girl, like the person's like, why are you doing this to us? And they're like, because you're home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt like Kyle was about to do to me. Like,
The strangers.
I'm doing this because you're home. And I'm like, stop, leave me the fuck alone, you little weird psychopath. You tiny little man.
And I have a feeling with the MSK video package, that was just NXT's way of us remembering who they are while filling some time because they can't have the match next week. So do you agree?
I just want an explanation.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I mean, I don't think that's why they did the MSK thing. I think they did that because they didn't have the time to during the Dusty Rhodes. But
It's been weird. We haven't heard from Oni and Danny at all about MSK. We've had Nia and Shayna appear for Dakota and Raquel, but nothing with Oni and Danny at all.
I just wonder if something weird is happening.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
Because usually if there's shit that they don't want to talk about, if there's shit that like is just going under the fucking like radar, 9 times out of 10 something weird is happening, and they don't want to talk about it for a reason. Because if they talk about it, it opens them up to something.
maybe they're hoping we forget that they announced the date last week, and they're pushing it back a long time until this Undisputed Era drama's over.
I wouldn't even say that. I think if that were the case, we would have at least had something from Oni and Danny, but the fact that we haven't heard anything from them, I don't even think that they've tweeted.
Oni's been tweeting, I think.
I don't know. I think we're gonna find out next week. I think that they're gonna realize that there's only so much they can do. And like this week was kind of just about pushing off the like recognition and the hype. Next week's gonna be like, hey, I know that we told you about this, but like, now it's not happening. Whoopsie, whoopsie. Anyways, so.
All right, so Wrestler of the Night. We started off with Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano. Both were great in this match, but I want to give it all to Dexter Lumis, mainly because we didn't see the best Johnny, which is always Takeover Johnny, but Dexter is a fantastic wrestler and always just impresses in the ring. My God, is he so good. He always, like, he can convey so much without saying anything, and that's what I love about him. It's such a breath of fresh air from the chatterboxes that are every single WWE superstar. Then we had Zoe Stark versus Eoshirai. I give that one to Io. Io fucking rocked it. Zoe was fantastic too, but I mean, you still have to show off that Io is the champion. She constantly looks like the champion. She looked fantastic. She always looks incredible, and she doesn't have too much of a character, but she always brings some kind of personality, and I really like that. And especially how this match ended with Tony and Io. Io just yelling at Tony was great. That was fantastic. Then we had Kacy Catanzaro versus Xia Li. I'm giving it to Xia Li because I don't want to give it to Kacy Catanzaro after those horrible punches she was giving in the corner. My God, you are an adult.
Like, oh, she's just unloading on Xia Li. And I was like, it was Aaliyah-ing her, except in reverse. What are you talking about?
You are an adult professional wrestler. Punch like one.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Kacy.
Then we had Drake Maverick and Killian Dain versus Grizzled Young Veterans. My pick, Zach Gibson, because his tag chemistry with James Drake is just impeccable. And the amount of character and personality that Zach Gibson gives with this character, it's complex, it's great. I love GYV so much. Part of me would have loved to see them win the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I know MSK is fantastic too, but I would have loved to see GYV as the tag team champions. Then we had Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar to end the night. I picked Santos. I mean, both Karrion and Santos were great. But Santos had that extra personality, being like cocky, but also like very aggressive and slightly fearful. Loved how he performed in this match. His reactions were great too, like when Mendoza and Wild were thrown through the plexiglass barrier. His reaction was great. But out of all of my picks, my pick for the wrestler of the night is none other than Dexter Lumis.
I agree.
Hell yeah. Okay.
I've been constantly shocked how good Dexter is, and maybe I don't know, sometimes like when I'm like shocked at how good somebody is, I'm like, maybe I'm just a mark. And then I don't know, he's just, his moves are so fluid. I don't think I've ever seen him fuck something up, and I've seen enough matches of him now where I'm just like, well, you should have fucked something up by now. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into his moveset. I think he's got so much force behind all of his moves. Yeah. And again, we've talked about this before. He's one of those wrestlers where it's like, I'm shocked that people leave the ring their own accord. But they aren't stretchered out every single time, because it just looks like his shit is mean as fuck. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, Cesaro was the same way for me for a while until I saw a couple of like shitty camera angles of his moves, and I was like, oh, like, uppercuts just going right under the throat. But
they always look
still
like that. He always arches around throat.
Never noticed that until like last SmackDown. I was like, oh,
I've noticed it every single time since the beginning.
Whatever. Maybe I'm just wishfully thinking that everybody's doing really well, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Cesaro is, but he's something else. He's really something else.
Now we move on to match of the night. We started off with Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano. Great match. Great story. I'm looking forward to how this story progresses. Kind of putting the way on different sides. Really like the match too. Great wrestling from Dexter. Decent wrestling from Johnny. Would have been better if Johnny had been able to get off a lot of the moves that he's like known for. But everything he was trying to do, Dexter just stopped him. And great countering from Dexter on like every single attempt the way tried to do, whether it was the chair or the whole way trying to attack him at once. It was great. Then we had Zoe Stark versus Eoshirai. Fantastic match between these two. I really want to see more of Zoe Stark. Don't want her to get a title shot yet. I feel like they might give her one though after Toni Storm. But this was a great match, and the ending was fantastic too with Toni coming out. I loved that bit.
And
yeah.
Zoe Stark blown me away. I didn't expect her to be nearly as good as she is. Mm-hmm. Yet she comes out here every night, and I'm like, are you not killing people?
Then we had Kacy Catanzaro versus Xia Li in a bad match. Just bad. Not good. Then we had Drake Maverick and Killian Dain versus Grizzled Young Veterans. Fun match.
You don't get the grr, like the Tony the Tiger grr in there.
Grizzled Young Veterans.
There you go.
Really fun match. love to see Drake and Killian together. They have a really good chemistry and they work off of each other really well. And same with Grizzled Young Vets. Grizzled Young Veterans. It was so good. This match was great. Wish there was a little more story added to it. Like, why are GYV fighting Drake and Killian? But, you know, the match itself was fun.
I guess at the end of the day, you can kind of say that this match was a means to the Alexander Wolf promo, which will probably end up being a means to the Wolf, Killian Drake, Killian Dain, Jesus Christ, Killian Dain, food, and potentially a Alex Wolf plus whatever member of Imperium he chooses versus. I don't know. I think that there's going to be Alexander Wolf, Killian shit. How's that?
No, I think this was a way to, because we've been getting Imperium stuff every week. I think this was just a way to tell us that they're there.
See them last week.
Yeah, we did. We got a little vignette with them, like their silhouettes.
We got the same vignette, if anything.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that we have been missing them.
They haven't been at the CWC, but we've been getting like the little video packages. This time, this was just them saying that they were there and a little throwback to the old school fans. Disgusting.
It is charming.
And then last but not least, we had Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar. This match was so fun. This was a great match. Really unsure of who would win. But that was what's great about it. You had two titans who are so protected. And the destruction, the spots in this match were all great. Everything outside, even if it was a little wacky, it was great. I really like this match. The fact that Karrion took down all of Legado. Yes, I see the cat.
I'm leaving it there for her.
Okay. I'm really wondering what they're gonna do with Karrion now, because like he took all three of them on in a no disqualification match. Like, where do you go from that? You know?
One thing that I thought was interesting about this match was what I said to you, which was just that we really haven't seen Santos lose anything in a while, and we haven't seen Karrion lose anything, so for loss this match, I was like, well, at least that's something. And we got more than that, really.
What if we get at WrestleMania a triple threat for the NXT championship? Finn, Walter, and Karrion Kross.
Will Adam Cole Bebe stand for this, though?
Fine, fatal four-way.
Thank you. But Adam Cole's gonna get the skin slapped off his chest by Walter, and you know that.
Adam Cole's story with Finn will probably end next month before WrestleMania, and then they'll build up to this WrestleMania match.
It is NXT, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah, they move pretty fast. But picking the best match of the night, you know what? I'm gonna go with Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar. This match was fun as hell. Had great spots. I'm really curious of where it's gonna go next. Yeah, this was fun as hell. And the reason I choose this over Johnny and Dexter is because the whole time in that match, I knew Dexter was gonna win. There was no sitting on the edge of my seat with Karrion and Santos.
Right.
It was back and forth.
It goes back to exactly what I just said of we really didn't know who was gonna win because these are two people who keep fucking winning.
Yeah.
So I will give you that. It's fair. It was a fucking, I mean, you know, as much as Karrion Kross scares me in a sense that, like, I'm like, have you committed crimes? And how many of them have been hate crimes? That aside.
came up in New Japan, right? Or was it Lucha Underground?
No, wasn't it Lucha Underground?
Might have been.
It was one of the, I believe, Karrion, Kross.
I know Santos came up in Lucha Underground.
Cancer. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Professional wrestling. Global Force, Lucha Underground, Lucha Libre,
Lucha Underground.
Impact, and Major League Wrestling before WWE.
I feel like those wrestlers that start up abroad, whether they're from New Japan or Lucha Underground, they have a good view of the world, and like normally people with racist views don't really get out. They don't travel outside of their sphere.
More so with Karrion, for me it's more of a,
he looks scary.
I know he's a COVID denier.
Allegedly. I at least heard that from hearsay. Haven't seen a lot of it on social media.
See, I was about to try to prove you wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that I was going to look up Jackson Riker.
Mm-hmm.
He really only wrestled in American promotions, like TNA, NWA, Impact.
Yeah, and then look at somebody like AJ Styles, who was in New Japan, who's like Southern boy, but also like
Arthur.
Very, very nice guy.
And homophobic. Potentially homophobic.
Potentially, you said?
Allegedly.
AJ?
Do you want to hit us with that real quick? Yeah, I've heard the Southern Baptist community doesn't quite take easily to those things. Here, you know what? 2018, WWE star AJ Styles under fire for repeatedly using gay slurs. First thing that you look up if you look up AJ Styles, homophobic. Not saying that you're not supposed to like him, because I like AJ. Wrestler. But that is the beauty of wrestling, is that we can say it was an amazing match and not give a shit. The only person I will ever give a shit about at this point is Velveteen Dream and Jack Striker.
Yeah, even Riddle, we credit his matches.
Occasionally. Give him that.
Was there, I'm just curious, was there a date attached to when he said these slurs? I'm just wondering if it was like decades ago or if it was like within the last decade.
So this is November 29th, 2018. And it was a compilation video clip where he says the F word to several of his opponents and to a man off screen while he was in the middle of an interview.
Okay. All right.
Again, I'm saying, what I'm trying to say here is that just like we were talking about right at the beginning of this episode, there's no ethical consumption of wrestling.
Yeah, it's true.
You just got to take it at face value.
Yeah.
It's sort of difficult sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nevertheless, I agree with you on this match. I think this match was pure chaos and destruction, and it is exactly what we needed. It is exactly what NXT promises us every fucking week. And again, who the fuck knew who was going to win this? It was not until that final pin where I was like, okay, I see. Well, prior to all of that, I was just like, it's a crapshoot.
I want to continue the chaos theme.
You have 3 men on your side.
Yeah, that's exactly why I want Karrion to win. But I want to see this chaos continue with Karrion and have him go for titles that he has no right to go for. Like, I want him to go for the Cruiserweight Championship and take on Santos again. I want him to go for the NXT UK Championship against Walter. I want him to get that and be like, okay, come to America and get it.
That would be scary, honestly.
I want him to
Walter versus Karrion.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I want him to go for like go for a tag team title, but like just himself.
It's like Scarlett's my other person, but like she can't tag in, so
Yeah, it's just me.
try me.
Goes for like the 24/7 championship. Goes for like a women's championship.
Karrion's somebody that I can see getting called up though, for sure.
Yeah.
In relatively short time. I think he's got to spend maybe another year in NXT. Just because he got his push and was like, he got injured. So
he got his push after a lot of enhancement talent matches. He came back, has had a lot of enhancement talent matches, and now he's like just starting to have big matches again. And I think he debuted last year or the year before, sometime really soon.
That's what I'm looking up.
But while you do that, to run it back, our promo of the night, Adam Cole apologizes. Wrestler of the night, Dexter Lumis. Match of the night, Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar.
Karrion debuted on April 8th in terms of like promos, and then made his actual wrestling debut on May 6th, which we watched his debut.
Oh, okay.
Guess who it was against?
Desmond
His
Troy.
enhancement talent.
Wait, what? You cut out. What'd you say?
I said it was enhancement talent, but it was not Desmond Troy.
It was not Desmond Troy. Leon Ruff.
In a complete squash, which I believe I remember because I was like, who's this skinny little man?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, yes, and then afterwards, we were like, oh, that's that skinny little man.
So his first storyline was going for the NXT championship. That was his first storyline.
Yeah, because his first storyline was it started on April 8th, where he and Scarlett were watching Johnny after a match with Tommaso. Kross then attacked Ciampa. His first match was against Leon, and then at NXT TakeOver in Your House, Kross defeated Tommaso, which that seems like that was basically almost a year ago now.
Okay.
Actually, it wasn't. It was June 7th, but whatever. I remember that because I remember just like being in the middle of a fucking pandemic lockdown, not knowing what the fuck to do with ourselves, and just being like, all right, well, now we've got In Your House.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we were doing this by that point, were we?
We were. We did a podcast on In Your House, yeah. I remember the logo. It was like one of our first, if not the first.
No, the first was... Oh, maybe it was.
It's the first saved on YouTube, I think.
Wait, I can actually tell you what was the first one.
Are you just going to scroll all the way on YouTube?
Oh. No. I'm on my calendar. I marked the 100th episode. Or 1 year mark. Might have. I didn't. It was not June 7th on my calendar, so that's all I can offer you this time.
All right. So, Liz, would you like to close out the show?
I mean, must I?
Sure. You want.
Right. Our first episode was June 5th SmackDown. Ha.
Okay.
On that note, if you joined us tonight, thank you so much for joining us. If you joined us in the future, thank you also for joining us. Hope you're having a fun... I don't know. St. Patrick's Day is coming up, right? You're not watching this that far out, but good on you. Please join us on Friday. Friday nights are our SmackDown nights, obviously. We will be here. We will be having a good fucking time because it's Friday and all we have to do the next day is drive somewhere. And for the first time in 2 fucking weeks, it's not a prediction show. Maybe, and this is a hard hard maybe. Maybe we can do a new edition of the promo show.
Oh, what? The what now?
We have not done the promo show since Christmas. It was a well-deserved break because my life is a fucking nightmare. But I feel balanced enough. I've been working at my desk more often, which means I have literally no chance to fuck off and do anything else, like, you know, nap. But maybe we can do that on Friday. If you do have anybody that you would like us to give a shout out to, that can be, we've done Etsy stores, we have done bands, we have done YouTube channels, we have done podcasts, we have done anything under the sun. We've done craft shops. If you have somebody that you want to shout it out, I don't care if it's your mom, it's your dog, it's your best friend, it's your best friend's dog. If it's your best friend's dog, even better. Let us know. We will give them a shout out. And we actually have had proof that it works because we've had people get views, we've had people get sales, especially during the Christmas show. So let us know. We love using our platform, as big or little as it may be. But yeah, please tune in on Friday for a potential promo show and for, you know, SmackDown, I guess. Maybe Alistair will come back. Maybe Seth will promise me that he won't change his fucking walkout song. Maybe Kevin Owens will stop going for the fucking Universal title. I don't know. So many wishes.
So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, follow, subscribe, all that goodness. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. My Twitter is at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. My personal Twitch is twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. Liz and I will actually be doing a special stream tomorrow. Taking a look at Pokemon cards from my childhood, seeing the value of all of them. It depends, you said?
I said Pokemons.
Oh yeah, Pokemons. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when it'll start. Also, check out the Universal Pokemon Federation on YouTube. New episode dropped last week. Definitely go check it out. Tons of fun. It's a combination of WWE and Pokemon. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you on Friday.